I am Dustin Abbott, and I'm here today to give you my review of the Godox AD300 Pro flash unit. And previously I have reviewed a number of the flashes, most similarly the AD200 Pro, but this slots in between the AD200 and the AD400, giving you a 300 watt second flash unit that is both versatile and very powerful, and so certainly worthy of consideration. Today's episode is brought to you by Into the AM, a clothing brand from Southern California that wants to outfit your passion, whatever it might be. Their everyday comfortable fabrics and designs are great whether you're working from home, working out, or even just chilling out. I'm enjoying the fit and finish of these handcrafted shirts and love the fact that they layer well too as the weather turns colder. You can choose from the basics or more funky styles created in collaboration with local artists. Use the code Dustin10 or follow the link in the description to get 10% off site-wide, including their monthly t-shirt club. Visit intotheam.com/Dustin10 for more information. So we're going to start off by taking a look at what comes in the box, some of the features and performance of the flash unit itself, and then I'm going to show you some photos from a few shoots that I've taken. So first of all, everything comes in a very nice nylon case here that has, formed sections to hold everything properly. There is an extra place up here, but whatever goes in there is going to have to be pretty shallow for everything to fit. But anyway, a zippered portion up there. So just taking a quick look at everything else first, you have got the battery charger here, and pretty straightforward setup there. By the way, the battery is compatible, or I should say the flash is compatible with the battery pack like from the AD200 Pro, and so I mean if you already own one of these flashes or whatever, you might be able to maximize your potential there. And then also we have got the mounting bracket. Just a couple of things about that. It's a really easy mounting system. I really like the design. Everything is really sturdy. It's easy to put in place. It's secure. The actually adjusting it works well. But then you also have in this, you have the capability of inserting an umbrella, which is always an easy modifier. You can get umbrella super cheap, and so if nothing else, you can put that in there, and so that works well. And then, of course, the main event is the flash itself. Now, it's interesting. I have heard people, kind of looking at forums, people's conversations. So there's kind of two different takes on this. There's people that look at the flash and say it is so small. Some of the user reviews comment on how small it is compared to, say, other mono lights like they've used in the studio. Then other people that have been, really loving the AD200 Pro and its compact size, they'll comment on how big the AD300 is. So I guess it all kind of comes down to your perspective. But the flash unit itself, for a 300 watt second flash unit, it's not like it is particularly large here. So up front, you just have a protective cover that you're going to want to remove before use. It says right on it, warning, remove before use. And that kind of gets you down to the main event of the flash itself. Now, if you're just using the flash unit itself or an umbrella type modifier, you can leave this front assembly on, or there is a switch here at the side that will allow you to release that. And unfortunately here you have a Godox mount, not a Bowen mount. And so you do have a couple of options for getting yourself to the Bowen mount. I mean, obviously you can just use an adapter. And a solution that a lot of people like is you can use this Godox, I believe this is called the S2. And so you can insert the flash unit into that. And then you can go to a full Bowen's mount through that. This is the same assembly that you can also use with other flash units, and so you might be able to multi-purpose here with it, because you can just pop that in and screw things down, and you can even, you can go to a flash unit like this or even a speed light and fit it in there. So this is a popular accessory because it's not particularly expensive and allows you to go to a Bowen S mount or a Bowen mount, which will give you a lot more flexibility. So the battery unit fits into the lower section here. This unit actually does have an internalized fan, and so you're going to be able to use it longer without it heating up, even compared to an AD200 Pro, for example. The battery itself can give you up to about 320 full charge or full power flashes per charge. And so obviously there's a lot of power there, a lot of versatility. And of course the nice thing about this kind of setup is that if you buy an additional power pack, which runs you right under 70 bucks, I think, you can obviously have that charging and ready to go, and it's obviously a super quick, plug and play swap there. And so, on the back here, you've got your, typical screen and setup. And so you've got a lot of options of, what you can control, some through direct buttons and then others through going into the actual menu system itself if you want to kind of explore in some of the other options that are going to be there. Now, one of the things that is pretty cool here is that you actually have a modeling light, and that modeling light is actually a bicolor. You can choose either 3000 Kelvin or, as it is right now, 6000 Kelvin, and there are 10 different steps of lighting. You actually end up with a 12 watt per second output if you say wanted to use it for run and gun for video also, and so a little bit of extra versatility for that, and so a lot of features that I like on here. Now, another thing that stood out to me is the recycle time is nice and fast on this. It can be as fast, depending on your power output, as 0.01 seconds. Averages out to about 1 second, and so you can just really fire quickly. And again, not really worry about overheating on it. You have a lot of range of versatility, from full power down to 1/256th of a second, which means it's versatile for a lot of different situations. Whether you're actually using it location outdoors or in a studio, you may really want to dial down that power output, and you have the ability to do this in a way that you often can't with some other monolights. Now, this is a slave-only flash, so obviously it's not designed to go onto a hot shoe or to serve as a master. You're going to need to control it through a remote trigger, wireless trigger. Godox has 3 different ones of these. There's the X1T, this is an X2T, this is the X Pro. Now, what I really like about this particular system is that this, you see it's a C, it's for Canon. This one is an S, it's for Sony. I shoot both systems, often, sometimes in the same shoot. And so to be able to swap between these and, have full TTL control of these Godox flashes, with different camera systems is frankly just really fantastic. And I have found these triggers to be really reliable. One thing to watch for on the triggers though, if you set them to automatically turn off, to kind of go into standby mode, they do that too quickly. And so if I'm actually on set, I really have to turn that right off, because otherwise you don't end up with something not triggering. But one thing I really love is the consistency of the output with these flashes. You can get really repeatable results. In the case of this, you can high-speed sync all the way up to 1/8000th of a second. And so you can really just kind of accommodate whatever your shooting conditions are. It's a very flexible flash unit. It puts out really good, not just good power of light, but also good, I think, consistency of light. And of course, particularly if you go to the, even in the Godox mount, I will say this, Godox sells a lot of accessories, everything from, barn doors to snoots to, softbox type things. There's a lot of options there. But then of course, if you use an adapter, the downside to using the adapter is you lose some of the small size. And so, but to have both options of going from the Godox mount stuff to the Bowens, depending on what you're invested in, it may be a worthwhile and flexible thing. Finally, the flash unit right now, it's selling for about $470 US. So not inexpensive, but obviously it is comparable to flash units that cost twice that in terms of its performance and power. So, worth considering. So as you can see, quality construction, everything that I've used from Godox, I've been, impressed that it's well put together, finish is good, everything works the way that it should. And I've also been impressed. I've been using Godox flashes a fair bit over the last 3 years or so, and I now own 4 of them. And I've been consistently impressed with the consistency of light output. They just work and work consistently. And of course, as I mentioned in our hands-on section, I really do like the versatility of not being tied to to a brand of flash in terms of a first-party brand for TTL. So it means that I can, in the midst of one shoot, as I'm about to show you, I switched in between a Sony setup in which I utilized a Sony a7R Mark III along with a couple of lenses as a part of that particular series. And so I got, as you can see, I got nice consistent results. You know, there's different flash looks here because I was experimenting with whether I wanted to go with a dramatic or a natural lighting. But of course, being able to quickly tweak off of your, you know, the wireless controllers makes it really simple to modulate output. And of course, on Sony, or when I switched over to Canon, I could also just choose to go into TTL mode. And then, you know, if I wanted to bias the result a little bit, depending on a look I wanted, I could just go up or down a little bit, just, you know, kind of dialing in some exposure compensation to that. And then I use the Canon EOS R5 and the Samyang 85mm f1.4 RF lens for some other series. And we were actually working on this. It's a little bit more of a challenging setup because I was trying to get images for our Christmas card that we send out to friends. And so it's always a challenge when you need to not only do all of the setup of all the lights and, you know, and triggers and remote releases, and then, you know, try to frame and pose everyone and then get into the shot yourself. And so it's my least favorite way to shoot, I'll tell you. Most definitely. But at the same time, I was, you know, reliably pleased with the lighting I got and the look that I got out of images. And so really pleased with that. Now, in a second set, I tried going indoors because this is a really powerful flash unit. And so I wanted to see how it would work moderating it down on the other end. And so for some of the shots, I actually had it down very near its minimum output. And so despite that, I was impressed by its ability to just kind of go from kind of scale, I should say, from that, you know, really intimate type setting where I don't want a lot of light, I want to augment the existing light, or to going to kind of an outdoor where I need a big amount of light to either, you know, offset a backlighting condition, you know, maybe if you're shooting against the sun, for example, or, you know, to where you just really want to kind of bathe the immediate area in light, and so that you can then allow the ambient light beyond to drop a little bit by comparison. And so that really takes some power, and also not just some power, but the ability to control that power. And you've got about 9 stops of control in these particular flash units. And so, you know, people have different preferences, and it's all going to come down to the way you shoot and the way that you use the light. Maybe the form factor of the AD300 isn't as, you know, useful for you, and you like, I mean, the AD200 has obviously been a very, very, very popular flash unit. A lot of people love the form factor with that. You know, in the real world, I mean, you know, they call that a pocketable flash, the 200. You have, if it's a pocketable flash, you have bigger pockets than what I do. This, no, I don't think anybody's calling a pocketable flash, but it still is reasonably compact, particularly for the amount of light output it has. And of course, you know, if you're going to, you know, scale it up to use with bow and mount, then, you know, the size is going to be less important. But if you're going to use some of the Godox type adapters or just throw a umbrella on there, obviously there's a lot of versatility on tap there. I'm Dustin Abbott. If you look in the description down below, you can find linkage to the image gallery, and you can see some of those photos that I've taken as a part of that, you know, as a part of this series for yourself. There's also buying links there if you want to purchase one for yourself. And beyond that, as always, there's linkage there to follow me on social media, to become one of my patrons, to sign up for my newsletter. It comes out every Thursday. And beyond that, of course, if you haven't already, please click that subscribe button right here on YouTube. And make sure to ring that bell, and so you'll be notified when new content is coming out. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.